As a child, we all long for a hero. As a society as a whole, we search for that leader that can be our hero. But as we mature and as we grow, it dawned on us that the hero is inside every one of us. And in the world's social media, we all start at zero. And slowly we search deep within ourselves to find who we are. And we have that moment of truth where we embrace that the hero that we've been searching for has been there all along. It is living deep inside of every one of us. And we start embracing that journey and we become that hero that we search for.
Hey everybody, and welcome to episode 36 of Zero to Hero. Good morning. We are joined by another one of these awesome guests. I don't know how we keep getting so fortunate to be bringing awesome people in here, but we are joined by Garrett Wilson today. He is the owner of GKW Restoration. I was just telling him before we went live here, I love the content that they put out on social media. If you're into that restoration type stuff, definitely check them out. But let's go ahead and bring him in here. Garrett Wilson of GKW Restoration. Garrett, how's it going, buddy?
Hey, pretty good. How's it going, Gino?
Oh, good, man. Good morning. So let's jump right into it here, Garrett. Tell us a little bit about, before we jump into it, I should say, tell us a little bit about GKW Restoration, some of the stuff that you guys are working on right now.
Yeah, so we're a restoration company based out of Kansas City. We've kind of expanded westward to Manhattan, Kansas about 5 years ago. And then as soon as last year, expanded into Colorado. But I head up the estimating and pre-construction department. But like we were talking about before, I like the satisfaction of a before and after of a project. So whether it's a new ground up building going, where there was nothing before, now there's a building you can drive by and look at, or the historic restoration stuff. So maybe there's an old building that, hasn't been taken care of, but it's a beautiful building, and then we're able to come in and bring it back to life. So the before and after there is it's really satisfying. If you walk through our hallways in our office, it's kind of lined with before and after shots because it's just kind of cool to look at.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and there's so much of that here in Kansas City too, with all the historical buildings that really have been kind of underserved. So that is awesome. I love seeing that, and keeping that historical aspect, but bringing it back to life. So cool. Right. So Garrett, in a couple of sentences, so not GKW, but about you. Give us a couple sentences. Give us your elevator pitch. Who is Garrett Wilson?
So I've just kind of been, a hard worker since, I've had a job since I was 14. My 14th birthday, got my first job, and just kind of always done whatever I had to do to get, to go to the next level. But my wife and I have been together for 15 years right after high school.
Wow.
So we had our first kid right after high school. So it was kind of like instant responsibilities, and had to figure it out. We were really young. And so that's what we've done. We've got 4 kiddos now,
wow.
Kind of ranging from 1 to our oldest is 15. 2 boys and 2 girls, but yeah, I'd say that's the gist of it. It's just a hard worker and trying to build a team. We're really team oriented, so it's not just me. It's a group of really good people that I trust and work with every day, and that's kind of what I'm about.
Father, husband, hard worker, leader. I love it. That's a perfect sum up. Yeah, 15 years, man. Congratulations on that. It seems like fewer and fewer people are reaching that mark. Me and my wife just passed 12 years ourselves. We waited a little bit on the kids, but
right.
but we've been together pretty much. Gosh, it seems like it was right out of high school. So that is awesome, man. That's awesome. A lot of trust, a lot of communication, and that leads into communicating with employees well, right? Leading it well as well. So we were talking a little bit about it before the show, but tell us a little bit about your social media journey, not only with GKW, but your social media journey personally as well.
Yeah. So from like a a marketing standpoint, we probably don't do the best or as good as I'd like to, because a lot of how we generate work is more through a black and white bid process where it's numbers driven. And our advertising for that doesn't really bring in any commercial work like that. But we do a lot of posts for like the before and after shots, or like progress photos, or maybe highlighting projects that we've done or awards that we've received, or highlighting employees, like key employees that we want to highlight. That's kind of what we use it for. We're mostly on Facebook and LinkedIn. There's social media platforms we don't really do too much on, so we need to do a little better about that.
Sure. No, and I think it's really good, the point that you brought up, right? I mean, it's as far as getting business, right, with your social media, that's not really the goal. And I think I know what the goal is, but I want to hear it from you. Why do you guys bother with social media if it's not bringing business in?
I guess more of like a brand awareness. You just want to see your name and your logo, and you want people to know who you are. So we do submit a lot of proposals for projects, but a lot of times they already know who we are, even if we've never communicated. They know the company name, they know maybe who I am or something like that. And it's usually through social media. That's
such a good answer. And that's exactly what I expected it to be as well. There's that trust, there's that familiarity there, right? When you put in that bid, hey, I've seen GKW before, right? I've never talked to him before. I've never spoken with Garrett before, but I know these guys and I trust them because of what I've seen on social media. Is that right?
Yeah.
That's so good. That's so good. Now, Garrett, every superhero has a defining moment. What is yours when it comes to life and career?
Yeah, so there's a few that come to mind. Like personal is definitely when we were younger and we had a son and I had to go to work. Figuring that out. I think the birth of my son was a driving factor in pushing me. Without that, who knows where I would have gone. But in life, but then in work or career related, it's funny how you fall into stuff or how stuff comes about. Like I have no history in my family of doing construction at all. My dad had a body shop and my mom kind of worked for him, and they didn't have any background in construction. But I was in college in St. Joe. I went to Missouri Western, and I was golfing on a Saturday, and I got paired up with a guy, and he ended up being the vice president of a local restoration company in Kansas City. We kind of hit it off, played golf a few times, and then he offered me a summer job when school got out, and I liked it and stuck with it and did that full time since I had a kid at home. Worked full time, did school part time. So I did that for a long time, worked my way up before starting GKW back in 2015. But that just me, timing and golfing with him at that certain time is kind of a defining moment. Like it shifted my career in a way that I didn't, see coming at all. And then I thought of another one. And then so we started in 2015, but it was me. Like that's why GKW is my initials. I was the only employee. And so in 2017, we kind of branched out, and I bid our first big commercial project. And the very first one that we bid, I landed it. And it was, at the time we were doing, small chimney repairs or like little residential stuff, $1,000 to $5,000 projects. And then we bid the first one, we win it. It's, $300,000. And
wow.
I'm like, I got to hire people.
Yeah, immediately.
So that was kind of a defining moment as well. So then we, hired a few guys, and it just kind of snowballed from there. So
that is so awesome. I mean, so what was it, with doing those smaller residential jobs and then just deciding to go for it, knowing that the employees weren't there, maybe the resources weren't there, that kind of stuff. What was it that made you make that decision to, hey, I'm gonna send it?
Yeah, right. Send it is kind of accurate. I've kind of I wouldn't say wing it, but I've been more aggressive or more of a risk taker. And I think, going for it and then figure it out on the back end is kind of the way I've done a lot of things. And so I don't think anybody knows everything. And a lot of people are too scared to make that jump initially anyways. So I've kind of always, made the jump and then, hey, if it works, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, it's so funny because I feel like our generation was kind of brought up in this mindset of, hey, if it's not perfect, don't do it.
Right.
Right. I mean, if you're not going to do it 100% perfect, there's no point in even setting your foot on the floor. Right. And I think what we're realizing now is that's not the case. Right. Especially with stuff like marketing, social media, proposals. Right. It doesn't have to be nailed down. You don't have to have 30 years of experience to get your foot in the door. Right. Just go out and do it, try it out, see what happens. And when we fail, we learn. Right. Sometimes that's the best lesson is in those failures, which kind of leads into our next question here. What are the attributes to you, Garrett, that define a hero? And you can take that however you want to take that.
Yeah, I would say like perseverance, like, get knocked down, but get back up again. And, starting a business and doing what we've done here, that there's a lot of wins, but there's a lot of, failures, or it's up and down. And so to just keep a, steady mindset and, perseverance would be one. Courage, like we kind of talked about, just taking that initial step to begin with is a big one. So yeah, perseverance and courage would be two that I think of.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Yeah, and that courage, right, is having the fear but doing it anyways. Right. Which a lot of people don't think about, and it's, have to go out there and be completely fearless or perfect, right? Just go out there and do it. Try it out, guys. See what happens. A lot of good things happen when you just go out there and do things.
Sure.
Garrett, last question here, buddy. If you had to pick a superhero that relates best to you, who would that be and why?
Growing up in the 90s, I would say maybe like Captain Planet.
Okay.
Just in a sense of like teamwork. You know how he had the Planeteers and they all specialized in their own thing and they came together as a team. So that's kind of what we do is, maybe I'm in the center, but we have all these people that work for us that have their, what they're good at. They're really good at one certain thing. And we kind of gel and create a team and combined, we're really good.
That is awesome. That's a first for us. We haven't had Captain Planet as an answer yet, so I appreciate the '90s reference there as well. Yeah. That is awesome. I watched that show. That was a good one back in the day for sure. Yeah, no, that is again great point. I mean, nobody can do everything, right? Especially when we've got a lot of moving parts, and nobody is an expert when it comes to everything, right? At J29, we're the same way, right? We've got our marketing or our social media team, that does that side. We've got our video production team that handles that side. I'm sure it's very similar, with GKW. You've got your waterproofing guys and your gals, right? Your restoration guys, gals.
Right. Yeah. It's almost like a commercial construction project. You have the general contractor that kind of oversees everything, but then you have all the tradesmen that specialize in what they do. You have the plumbers and the framers and the concrete guy and the masons, and they do what they do best. And together, it creates a good team.
Yeah, that is awesome. And I want to give you an opportunity here because I think a lot of people don't necessarily maybe know what all restoration companies do or how they could use them, right? So maybe for some of the people that are watching at home that have that product, or, that issue that they don't really know what to do with it or who to call, what's the full scale of kind of what you guys are able to do, what you offer?
Yeah, so our company is kind of split 50-50 between new construction and restoration work. And so on the new construction side, we do new masonry, like new brick walls and new block and stuff like that. But we do on the masonry restoration side. The masonry side is split in half: new masonry and then the masonry restoration, which is like on your older buildings, you've got like tuck pointing, which is replacing the mortar in the brick joints or the stone. A lot of brick replacement and stone work and stuff like that on older buildings. That's our masonry side. On our new construction side, we have a building envelope side. So the building envelope basically goes from the ground to the roof and encapsulates the building, and separates like conditioned space inside your home or your building to outside conditions. And so we have waterproofing below grade that you don't see. And then behind the skin of a building it's called an air and vapor barrier. So that's to keep air from escaping from the building. So you want to be energy efficient and keep that air inside. And so then that ties into the roofing, which we don't really get into, but it becomes an entire package. So we do a lot of that as well.
Gotcha. Yeah, I grew up in one of those like 100-year-old midtown houses, right? Where it's like it was always cold in the wintertime and it was always hot in the summertime. So
right.
For those you guys that are living down there still experiencing that, give Garrett a call for sure. Get that taken care of. Keep your house warm in the wintertime here. So Garrett, thank you for coming on the show, man. How can people follow you? How can they get a hold of you? Go ahead and throw out all your social medias, your website.
Yeah, so the website's just gkwrestoration.com. You can find us the same way on Facebook, LinkedIn. We'll do a little bit better about the other ones here in the future, hopefully. But
Cool.
Those are the main ones. Yep.
Right on. Well, again, Garrett, thanks for coming out. As always, great guest. Love hearing about this stuff. So, again, if you guys have any projects that you need help working with, give Garrett a call. Take it easy, guys.
Thanks, Gino.